Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamerspro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. Looks like we got some serious drama. We got some serious drama between the NBA and its media partners. As you guys know, the NBA was finalizing a new 11-year deal worth roughly $77 billion. And they were looking to partner up with whoever was the highest bidder, right? And some of these companies that were slated to pay for the deal was going to be ESPN, who's willing to pay $2.6 billion. You had NBC Universal, willing to pay $2.5 billion. And then you had Amazon, who was offering to pay $1.8 billion. You combine these numbers, you multiply it by the years, you get the number. So those were the companies that were looking to pay for the media rights. But then you had TNT, right? You had TNT, which featured the show Inside the NBA, which has been on TV, I believe, for decades now, featuring Charles Barkley, Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kenny Smith. We've also seen various iterations of that show. You've seen Chris Webber and seen so many other famous guys and memorable moments, right? Especially with Charles Barkley and the things that he says. And it's the number one NBA show going. Like, it's just that simple. Best show out there, right? So when we got the news that the NBA was rejecting TNT's bid, because what had happened was TNT was given, I believe, 3 to 4 days to match the offer of Amazon. And then I guess what happened was they ended up matching the bid, and then they ended up getting rejected. So I want to quickly read from a Front Office Sports article. It says NBA rejects TNT Sports bid, chooses Amazon for national TV media rights. In just 48 hours, the answer to TNT Sports and parent company Warner Bros. Discovery has arrived from the NBA. Thanks, but no thanks. The league has rejected Monday's attempt from TNT Sports to exercise its matching rights and supplant a rival bid from Amazon for a piece of the league's national media rights. In conveying its decision, the NBA said TNT Sports and WBD failed to meet the terms of the rival bid from the online streaming and retail giant. And then it says Warner Bros. Discovery most recent proposal did not match the terms of Amazon Prime's videos offer, and therefore we have entered into long-term arrangement with Amazon, the league said. Throughout these negotiations, our primary objective has been to maximize the reach and the accessibility of our games for our fans. Our new arrangement with Amazon supports this goal by complementing the broadcast, cable, and streaming package that are already part of our new Disney and NBC Universal arrangement. And then it says all three partners have also committed substantial resources to promote the league and enhance the fan experience, the NBA said. So that's what the NBA said. And with that news, we now no longer have Inside the NBA and TNT and all of that. And one of the people that has been up in arms about this news is Rob Parker from The Odd Couple. When Rob Parker got a hold of this particular information that the NBA had rejected the bid from Warner Brothers, he absolutely went off on the league and basically said that the league is prioritizing revenue than keeping legacy programs like Inside the NBA, which are shows that NBA fans seem to absolutely adore. So what we'd like to do now is like to play exactly what Rob Parker had to say here, and then to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to Rob Parker here.
But let's get going. All right, Aaron, let's start here. We know, I'm just going to tell it like it is. TNT played a dangerous game of chicken with the NBA. Mm-hmm. Okay? If you have something that you really want, you don't play around. When negotiations open, how much is going to cost? Let's get this thing done. No, the president of, I know it's Warner, Discovery. I don't know the name of it, right? It's like a million names now. TNT, okay? He goes on the record and says TNT could survive without the NBA.
He did say that.
That was on the record.
I know.
Okay, so if I'm the NBA, okay, I got you. I heard what you said. Like a threat, right? That you don't come to the table, you don't do what we want. We'll move on. That's what it sounded like to me, like a threat. A veiled threat. So the bargaining starts and the other networks get involved. The NBC had been out for a gazillion years. Oh, my God, they want to sell Peacock. They want to be able to get people to buy the streaming service. So you got to give people a reason to pay the $5.99 or whatever it is. So in the last hour, TNT runs back and said, wait, there's a clause. We can match any deal, the big deal with Amazon that Amazon grabbed their deal. We can match it. So they come up and say, here it is. We'll give you exactly what Amazon is going to give you. And guess what, Rob G? The NBA said, no way, no how. And then this press release, amazing.
Yeah, they said thank you, but no thank you. Here's the press release in part. Warner Brother Discovery's most recent proposal did not match the terms of Amazon Prime Video's offer, and therefore we have entered into a long-term arrangement with Amazon. They close it with, we're grateful to Turner Sports for its award-winning coverage of the NBA and look forward to another season of the NBA on TNT.
Which is next year, which is the last year. But, Aaron, I got to tell you right here, right now, if you're an NBA fan, and TNT is going to sue. I don't know why they're going to waste their money, okay? You can't force somebody to want to be a partner. Like, seriously. It's just going to be a waste of money. I have no idea why they would do that. The NBA has obviously doesn't want to be there. And if you're an NBA fan, financially and all that and the future, I get why the NBA picked Amazon. They got gobs of money, global, all that. But if you're an NBA fan today, you got to feel like you got slapped across the face by the NBA. Because they just took away something that you were comfortable with, that worked. You talk about comfort food, mac and cheese. Don't tell me inside the NBA, like here, they had a chance. The NBA had a chance. It ain't like TNT said we're going to give you a third of the money. They were going to match the money. So the NBA wasn't going to lose any money by getting back in bed with TNT. And instead of doing what the fans want, how many people have tried to imitate inside the NBA and they can't do it? It's the best studio show we've ever seen. And the NBA had a chance to give it back to the fans that have watched it, adored it, have loved it. And they said, no, we don't care about Charles and the inside the NBA and Kenny and rekindling that. We don't care if the fans love this more than life itself. We don't care.
So you heard what Rob Parker had to say there. He didn't mince words. He didn't hold back. He called it exactly how he saw it. What are my thoughts on what Rob Parker had to say? I think that Rob Parker is speaking from the fan perspective, and to be fair to Rob, that seems to be a vantage point that he speaks from quite frequently, and it's something that you rarely hear people in media discuss. They always talk about, how it's going to benefit the league and all of these different things, but he's speaking about it from a consumer standpoint. Right? People that already have TV have access to these shows, to these games. And now all of a sudden you're going to have TV. Now, if you want to watch these games, you need to go pay a premium, which is around $15 a month. In this case, in Amazon to watch the show. Whereas before you could watch it on television, right? If you have some type of cable package. Now, what is interesting is the following, and I don't know if Rob considered this or if it's part of the discussion as of yet. Warner Brothers owns HBO Max. And I subscribe to HBO Max, and I see that they have various games, various sporting events. What I'm unsure of is the following. What I'm unsure of is whether or not the base number of subscribers or base number of people that are subscribed to Amazon Max is on par with the number of people that Amazon has, because maybe that could have played a role in this entire negotiation. I don't know, right? I don't know. But if TNT matched the offer, then I guess it shouldn't matter. But to his point, it comes off as if the NBA doesn't care about these legacy shows, these shows that fans have loved for years. And, it's going to be very, very sad, to be honest with you, because let's just face it. If you want the rawest analysis of what's happening around the NBA as it pertains to the games or things that players are doing, news that comes around the NBA, no one is going to give you a more raw analysis than what Charles Barkley, Shaq, and these guys give you. The fact that you see them arguing back and forth on television, going back and forth with each other, tells you how they generally disagree, how genuine, they are with the positions that they're taking. And to now supplant that, well, not even supplant it, because they're not supplanting it with anything, because it's now being replaced by just games, and we no longer get this show, is going to be very, 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 very sad. Now, I have another thought about this, which is this. Given the fact that there's going to be this void in the market space, does this create an opportunity? Right? Does this create an opportunity for someone out there or some company, whomever it is, to try to fill a void with a particular show that does a similar thing? Now, it's going to be kind of hard to replicate something like this, because you can't replicate Charles Barkley, you can't replicate Shaq and these guys. And also, it's important that I pointed out that Charles Barkley said he's retiring. Looks as if Brett Favre is back in the news for all the wrong reasons. All the wrong reasons. And it seems like Shannon Sharpe may have been right about Brett Favre all along, based on the new report that just came out that we got from Front Office Sports. It's a pretty serious one. But for those of you guys who don't remember, number of years ago, I believe it was 2 years ago, Shannon Sharpe, while he was still on Undisputed, was addressing a story surrounding Brett Favre, where apparently he misappropriated some funds that were meant for people that were, dealing with some financial difficulties. And they were discussing this on ESPN ESPN Undisputed. Skip and Shannon's Undisputed. So in the midst of them discussing this, Shannon Sharpe, and if you remember the way Shannon used to talk about issues like this, I thought he was really good on Undisputed, and I used to really enjoy his positions on a lot of these type of issues. Shannon Sharpe absolutely went off on Brett Favre, to the point where Brett Favre tried to sue Shannon Sharpe for defamation because of how harsh he was in his critique on Brett Favre. Now, for those of you sitting here wondering, man, that's like 2 years ago, 2-3 years ago. Can you jog our memories? Can you please help us remember what the hell Shannon Sharpe said? That's exactly what we're going to do now for you. For those of you who don't remember what Shannon Sharpe said, I want to play what he had to say about Brett Favre on Undisputed some years ago, and I'm going to come back and react and continue on. Take a listen to what Shannon Sharpe had to say here.
Shannon, how much do you think this could tarnish Brett Favre's legacy?
Well, I don't think none can tarnish it, because if you go back and look at his history when he played in the NFL, they should have tarnished it already. I talked to people that was in the room when Brett Favre went into the Hall of Fame, and nobody mentioned about text messages that he sent to that jet masseuse. Nobody mentioned anything about the addiction that he suffered from. But yet T.O., they brought up everything. Can you imagine if T.O. would have had an incidents like Brett Favre off the field? T.O. still, to this day right now, would not be in the Hall of Fame. Yet they walked right past it like Brett Favre did nothing.
That is true. I give you that.
The problem that I have with this situation, you got to be a sorry mofo to steal from the lowest of the low. Skip, Mississippi is the poorest state in our country.
It is.
Its citizens. So if they're the poorest state, Brett Favre is taken from the underserved. You made $100+ million in the NFL. And they're talking about what he didn't know. This is what Brett Favre texted. If you were to pay me, is there any way the media can find out where it came from and how much? So if you got to ask this question, is there any way the media can find out? You already know you're doing something wrong. The mere fact that you don't want anybody to know. So you know you're doing something wrong. And Skip, he wanted to seem so philanthropic. He wanted to change the perception of the narrative. He take money for some damn volleyball arena.
Well, his
daughter played. You see what Brett Favre did for his alma mater? No, he didn't get no money came out of his pocket. He stole money from people that really needed that money.
Yep.
Man, this is embarrassing. And he's not the only one. Ted DiBiase, a former wrestler, even Marcus Dupree, a great running back at the school that you loved growing up, Oklahoma. He got money. How can you got to be really low to take from the poorest of the poor? Brett, you ain't got enough money? Okay, Skip, listen. You know you're not supposed to have this. But how about go give the damn speeches? They're paying you to give speeches, and you didn't even give the speeches. And now you won't even pay the money back. And they fired one of the guys that say he tried to recruit the money. They fired him he was a Clinton appointee. This was political.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you get the money back? Have nothing to do with politics. The man got and this is what we know. Skip, when black and brown people do fraud the government, they hell bent.
Mm-hmm.
You get an EBT card or you get WIC or you get stuff like that, boy, they move heaven and earth to try to put you in jail for $400 little measly dollars.
Fact.
Now this man done took $1 million. Somebody got $3 million. Somebody got $400,000.
Yeah.
And they sitting around like, well, you know, it happened and we'll see. And they're going to get more money and do it all over again.
And to your point, the Mississippi Department of Human Services had to file a civil lawsuit against Brett Favre because he had not paid back the interest he owed on the $1.1 million that he was fraudulently given for giving no speeches. Right.
And he won't even pay the 1.1 back. He won't even pay the interest on the money.
Right. It's $228,000.
I mean, you got to be really low.
Yeah.
You got to be really low. And people and politicians, you got to be really low too. To know that this money is supposed to go to the most underserved, and you take it and give it to people that's made millions or got millions or have the potential to make millions, and you're willing to do that, you're willing to let your people starve, you let your people go underserved, and Brett Favre, you took this money, ain't nothing but Skip, this is what we know.
Yeah.
If people like you, there is nothing you can do to turn them against you.
So what happened was I came across this pretty serious article from ESPN that basically had the following headline: Brett Favre's ex-associate pleads guilty in Mississippi welfare case. This article I'm going to read. Let's read some of what it has to say. Brett Favre's former business associate pleaded guilty to wire fraud in federal court on Wednesday, admitting that he used Mississippi welfare money his company received for concussion research to pay off gambling and other debts, according to court filings. Biomedical researcher Jacob pleaded guilty in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Mississippi to one count of wire fraud for using 1.9 million that his company Prevacus received in government funds to unlawfully enrich himself, according to the filings. Wire fraud carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. He was released on bond. His lawyer, Thomas Marshall Finley, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Previously told ESPN in a 2022 interview, "I had no idea this was welfare money, and I've always been an upstanding person when it comes to research. Documents show Favre invested more than $800,000 of his own money in Prevacus and lobbied government officials, including former Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant, for funding for the company. Favre was the top investor in Prevacus, according to a civil lawsuit filed by the state in May 2022 against Favre, among others. The state's lawsuit seeks to recoup misappropriated funds in what is the largest case of public fraud in the state's history. At least $77 million in temporary assistance for needy families funds earmarked for poor families were misspent, according to the Mississippi State Audit. 8 people have been indicted, 6 of whom have pleaded guilty to their involvement, including Mississippi former welfare director and head of a nonprofit organization. Favre, a pro Hall of Fame quarterback who played in the NFL for 20 seasons, has not been criminally charged and has denied wrongdoing. A spokesperson for Favre did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Favre remains a defendant in the lawsuit. At the heart of the dispute is a volleyball facility built in 2019 at his alma mater, the University of Southern Mississippi. A text message made public in legal filings show he pushed the state officials for funding during the time his daughter was on the team. The university's athletic foundation received $5 million in welfare funds. My Lord. Favre donated $1.4 million of his own money to construct the facility. So that's what the article has to say there. Are we saying that Brett Favre is guilty of anything? No, we're absolutely not, because there is no guilty verdict. What we're saying, and the reason that we said, it's a stunning report suggests Shannon Sharpe may be right. Folks, let me tell you something. The company you keep says a lot about you. The company you keep says a whole lot about you. A whole lot, right? The people you associate yourself with is a reflection of you, your views, your ideologies, things you like, whether you like it or not. And you seldom see birds who have not of the same feather, not flocking together. They usually do. People that hang out with each other usually have common views, common life goals, find similar humor, all of those different things. So if you're hanging out with people that are basically pleading guilty to crimes that may cause them to get a wire fraud or whatever, to cause them to get locked up for 20 years, and these are people that you're, associated with, it may cause one to look at you kind of side-eye. But according to the article, no charges have been filed against him, although he's defending a particular lawsuit or whatever it is. Let me go back to the article. Okay, looks like I closed it out, but you heard what the article said at the end of it. But to me, man, it makes me wonder about whether or not the things that Shannon Sharpe said do have some kind of credibility, right? It really makes me wonder. So, we got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff. As you guys know, the NBA has formally rejected the bid that TNT put forward to match Amazon's deal. I want to quickly read from a Front Office Sports article. It says, NBA rejects TNT Sports bid, chooses Amazon for national media rights, and then continues on. In just 48 hours, the answer to TNT Sports and parent company Warner Brothers Discovery has arrived from the NBA. Thanks, but no thanks. The league has rejected Monday's attempt from TNT Sports to exercise its matching rights and supplant a rival bid from Amazon for a piece of the league's national media rights. In conveying its decision, the NBA and TNT Sports and WB failed to meet the terms of the rival bid from the online streaming and retail giant. Warner Brothers Discovery most recent proposal did not match the terms of Amazon Prime's videos offer, and therefore we have entered into a long-term agreement with Amazon, the league said. Throughout these negotiations, our primary objective has been to maximize the reach and accessibility of our games for fans. Our new arrangement with Amazon supports the goal by complementing the broadcast, cable, and streaming package that are already part of our new Disney and NBC Universal arrangement. All three partners have also committed substantial resources to promote the league and enhance the fan experience, the NBA said. So that's what the NBA has said, right? And with this revelation, it has brought on fire and brimstone on the NBA, because it looks like TNT now is going to sue the NBA for rejecting their bid. And there's a lot of different pieces of information. Now, before getting into the statements that that TNT put forward, I just want to go over some of the details of the current deal, right? So I want to read from two sources, The Hollywood Reporter, and then I also want to read from the Sports Business Journal. So The Hollywood Reporter, it says, NBA officially reveals long-term TV deal with Disney, NBC Universal, and Amazon. Here are the details. The NBA has finalized its new long-term TV deals with ESPN, the Walt Disney Company, NBC Sports, and NBC Universal, and Amazon Prime Video, set to be the new home for national NBA games beginning in 2025 and running all the way to 2036, which makes 11 years. Disney will remain the NBA's partner for the A package, including the NBA Finals, and a deal sources estimate to be around $2.6 billion per annum. The NBA also found new rights partner in the form of NBC Sports, which is in line to get the B package around $2.5 billion per year, and Amazon for the C package at around $1.8 billion a year. Now, so that's what that said. Now, I want to go into the details a little bit further from the Sports Business Journal to really give you guys some information on what these deals really entail in terms of the people, the partners that are with them. So ESPN, according to the sportsbusinessjournal.com, $2.6 billion annually. What does that entail? NBA Finals annually, an NBA Conference Final annually, early round playoff games, reduction of total games from 100 to 80 in exchange for international and digital rights for its pending direct-to-consumer product, games on Wednesday and Thursday, plus a slate of Saturday night games on ABC, games on Friday nights following NFL season, unspecified package of WNBA games. It's also important that I point out that I think the WNBA out of this deal, I believe, is getting $2 billion or something like that. I forgot where I read that bit of information. So the WNBA is also going to make some money off of this. The next one, NBC Universal, $2.5 billion annually. An NBA conference final every other year, season-long Tuesday package, season-long Monday night package on Peacock, early round playoff games, NBA All-Star Saturday night, and NBA All-Star games. So if you want to watch that, you got to be on NBC Universal. Incredible. Saturday night basketball, once NFL season ends, unspecified package of WNBA games. And finally, Amazon at $1.8 billion annually, an NBA conference final every other year, Thursday night games once NFL season ends, weekly Friday or Saturday night games all season long, Emirates in-season tournament, early round playoff games similar to NBA TV's current package, international rights, unspecified WNBA package. So that's what that piece of information is entailing there. Now, let's get to the information that's been put out, the official statement from TNT, and I want to read it to you here. We're going to put it up for you guys to look at. It says, TNT says, we'll take appropriate action against the NBA. We have matched the Amazon offer, and we have a contractual right to do so, and do not believe the NBA can reject it. In doing so, they are rejecting the many fans who have continued to show their unwavering support for our best in-class coverage delivered through the full combined reach of WBD's video-first distribution platform, including TNT, home to our 4-decade partnership with the league, and Max, our leading streaming service. We think they have grossly misinterpreted our contractual rights and with respect to the 2025-2026 season and beyond, and we will take appropriate action. We look forward, however, to another great season of the NBA on TNT and Max, including our iconic Inside the NBA. Right? Folks, there is some drama here. And it didn't stop there, because according to Andrew Marchand from the New York Post, he posted the following. He said the following, and we're going to show it to you. Neither side would likely want to enter a legal case where private conversations could become public during discovery. If TNT does file a suit, it could lead to more talks and possible compromise and a possible compromise with other NBA rights or financial possibilities being the outcome. It is more possible than ever that TNT Sports could enter the year suing the NBA to remain together for another 11 years while the league wants a divorce. Lord have mercy. Folks, what does this say? What does this all say? What this says to me is that there's some serious money being left on the table here that Warner Brothers doesn't want to lose out. According to a report that I'd read a while ago, apparently, and I could be wrong, Warner Brothers Discovery is making about, on the current deal, I think they make upwards of $600 million. $600 million, I believe, a year on the show in profit. So if you're paying them $2.5 billion annually, well, let me get that right. No. Is it 600 million or 6 billion? Something like that. But they're making hundreds of millions of dollars, and the profit they're going to get, I don't remember the number, but it was a ridiculous number. But if they're willing to pay 1.8 billion, they're probably looking at a profit, based on what I read that time, I couldn't find the report, probably 3x what they're paying. 3x what they're paying. So if they were going to be paying, let's do it here, 1.8 times 11, they've been paying them $19.8 billion over the 11 years, and I think that we're going to be making double or triple that number. Probably triple, based on the number that I read before. So there's not just a thing about the sentimental aspect of it. Oh, we want to keep the show together. Yeah, they want to keep the show there. But there's also some serious money being made here. For you to be fighting to give somebody $1.8 billion per annum, it means that you're making way more than that. in return. So this is serious business here. I guess we have to wait and see how these things materialize. But if Warner Brothers were to sue TNT was to sue the NBA, it would be an incredible story